On this episode of Internet Business Mastery, we talk about how to have the best year ever in 2012. And in the quick tip, we share our new favorite tool for planning our sales funnel.
Welcome to InternetBusinessMastery.com, where you will learn to take control, make more money, and start an internet business today. Here are your hosts, Sterling and Jay.
Hey everyone, I'm Sterling.
And I'm Jay.
And as always, we are on a mission to help you start your own internet business. You can go now to freevideogift.com and check out our video that teaches you the right way to start your very own online business. So Jay, what's going on?
Well, it's a new year. Can you believe it? 2012, which is apparently the end of the world. So I think we only got about 20 episodes left of IBM, and then...
Yeah, as always, it seems like every year is the end.
Every year is the end, yeah.
Here's the next end.
But yeah, as this episode's coming out, I think we're just a couple days away from New Year's. I'm sure some people are listening to this. It's already in the New Year, so definitely Happy New Year to everybody. Yet another hopefully successful and happy year for you, and we hope that this next one brings even more. We always like to say, let's make the next year the best year ever, which is the title of this episode, how to have the best year ever. And that's because, I think it's a good way to live, to have this year be even better than last year and always kind of growing and moving forward and achieving new things. So it's a nice moment of renewal and moment to think about, I guess, the new things we want to do in the new year.
Yeah, one of the things that maybe if you don't have an internet business you can shoot for other than having an internet business is getting on our breakthroughs.
Right.
A lot of people want to be on the show and want to be interviewed on the show or just be on in any way. Well, one of the probably easiest ways to get on there is to be a breakthrough. And instead of at the end of 2012 just simply listening to the show, be one of the people that get talked about during the breakthroughs. That's something that I wish for all of you.
So yeah, Happy New Year, and let's make big things happen in 2012.
And now, the features segment.
So, speaking of making big things happen in the new year, that's what we want to talk about this episode. We're going to talk about, we've kind of made a tradition out of talking about how to have the best year ever by sharing some of the things that are on our minds right now and some of the lessons we've learned recently and some suggestions of how to start the year off right or things that you can make happen this year. So we've got 5 things here, kind of our magic number 5 that we like to use, probably because that makes for a nice episode length. 7's a little too long, 3 might be a little too short. I don't know. 5 has been a common number, it seems, lately on our show. So the number 1 way that we came up with here to have the best year ever in 2012 is to discover your strengths. This is something we've enjoyed talking about quite a bit, both in the academy and our courses. We've talked about it a lot with our coaching students, and we've also mentioned it here in the episode quite a few times, how we are really, really big on forming your life and your business in such a way that it focuses on what your strengths are. Everybody has those innate strengths in them. It might be partially genetics. It's also partially, the upbringing you've had and the things that you've learned, the experiences you've had in your life. And, you might be somebody who's naturally inclined to, like, for instance, myself, I'm very naturally inclined to looking thoroughly through all the data and then putting it together in an organized manner and coming up with a decision on that or presenting it in a way that people can understand it. Or, Sterling's very got a strength of getting people excited, looking forward to big possibilities, motivating himself and others towards those possibilities. It's what's called a futurist strength. And these are things that have really informed our business quite a bit in this past year, is knowing what those strengths are and then forming our partnership and our business and our lives in a way that allow us to thrive in putting those strengths into action rather than focusing on the weaknesses that we might have, which sadly is what society kind of teaches us to do. It's like, oh, you got that D on your report card. Well, let's focus all on that rather than it's like, oh, it looks like you're really, really good at problem solving. Let's focus on that. So how do you discover your strengths? You might be wondering. And that's where we would point you towards a book called Strengths Finder 2.0. It's a very inexpensive little book, great book to get yourself or others for the holidays. In fact, it'd even make a great stocking stuffer. It's just a little book that allows you to take an assessment and find out what your top 5 strengths are, and then gives you a very thorough report on here are the kinds of things you should focus on doing. Here's some things maybe you should avoid doing. And here's the kinds of people that you'll thrive the most if you work with these kinds of people. Or here's the kinds of people that can help balance out the areas that you might not have strengths in. And take it from us, it has made our business much more fulfilling, reduced stress greatly, and I'd say even increased our income to be strengths focused in our life and our business.
Yeah, one of the things I found most useful on knowing these top strengths is it basically gave me like a roadmap of how to design my life and my business so that I guess I could get the most enjoyment out of it. So talking about having the best year ever, if you know these things, then you know, it's really easy to have motivation when you're dealing with your strengths. We talked about definite major purpose many times. Yeah, as Jay said, this is probably one of the top things I would say has really made it so that I and we can really shoot to where we're at now and find that real happiness is when we're working on those strengths that we're just naturally inclined to.
Yeah, you know, one example for me would be, because one of my 5 strengths is learner. And, I have this ability to learn things, and also I'm very fulfilled when I'm learning things. And often when I find that I'm stagnating a bit, if I think about the last time I read a book or took a class or bought a course or, learned from a coach or something like that, if it's been a few months, that's a sure sign that I'm going to fall into a bit of a slump. And so that's where I try to schedule regularly to sign up for, a local class on photography or filmmaking, something I want to, a hobby that I want to develop, or, I invest in some more audiobooks and start reading more again on listening to stuff on my walks or setting some time apart to read. So that would be an example for me. If I want to make sure that this is a good year, I definitely need to cater to that learner strength that I have and provide for that in order to maximize my fulfillment.
Yeah, and for me, my very top one is communication. So I have to make sure that I have enough chat sessions with friends. We do the show. I mean, this is very helpful for my communication strength, is being able to do a show like this and be able to do the content and stuff we have. But I also need to talk about all sorts of other things. And so I've got the different people that I can get together with quite often to chat and just talk about whatever we need to talk about just to get that strength need met, I guess you'd say.
Right. Well, and you're somebody that in talking, that's how you discover new things, make decisions. You have that opportunity to inspire people, which is a big fulfillment thing for you.
It's actually a big part of how I learn. So I'll read about something, and then one of the things that's most useful to me is to teach what I just learned. So that's one of the major things I do when I go chat with people is I go, oh, let me tell you about this transhumanist thing I just learned. And then I'll talk all about it, and they'll go, oh, but what about this? And I'll go, I don't know. Let's think through this, or I've got to go get more information. I mean, that's just one of the main things of how I learn. But if I didn't know that, it's quite strange. I look back at how I was before, and again, a lot of times I was trying to judge myself based on how other people did it, which is using, they're following their strengths map, let's call it. So I just can't judge based on that. In the same way as judging myself against you wouldn't be good because, though we do have some things in our top strengths that are the same, we have some that are completely different. I don't analyze in the same way that you do. I got to talk about it. Learn a little bit, talk about it, see what people say, then go learn a little bit more to fill in the blanks. That's how I do it. So, if I judge myself based on what you were doing, I would always feel down because I'm like, I can't do it the way he does it. He's a genius at it that way, and I can't do that. And that's why I think, we wanted to put this on the list, is really discovering your strengths so that, you can get all these blocks out of the way and really shoot ahead this year by knowing what your top strengths are, not judging based on others, and focusing on those strengths instead of weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely. So number 2 is, I believe, something we even talked about last year, but it just really bears bringing up because I think this is where people sabotage themselves with this whole new year. Oh, I'm going to do a billion things. I'm going to set new goals. I'm going to make things happen. And, we have resolutions, and it's like, well, why do so many resolutions get dumped by the end of January? And I think it's because people are trying to change 12 different behaviors at once. I mean, the way we live our lives day to day is more or less a product of the beliefs that we have, which form our way of thinking, which form the actions that we take, and those actions have formed habits. There's certain ways that we eat each day, and there's ways that we start our mornings each day, and whether or not we exercise is basically a habit. And I found that something that's really helped make real change in my life is to focus on forming habits one at a time. And so it's great at the beginning of the new year to maybe go, well, here's the 12 things I want to change, but taking those things one at a time and going, okay, well, what's the first that's most important to me? And probably even informing those decisions with your strengths. So, if it's that learner strength that I want to feed more, going, okay, well, maybe I want to form a habit of reading for at least 15, 20 minutes in the morning before I start working, or maybe I want to form the habit of taking TED Talks with me on my iPhone as I, go for that, for an evening walk every day, or whatever the case may be. So if you think about reaching success and reaching goals as forming one good habit at a time, and it takes you about a month to form that habit, pick something, decide that you're going to do that every day, and then consistently do that for 30 days, and it'll no longer take as much concerted effort and concerted, trying to be aware of that behavior and trying, I guess willpower, as some people call it. Once you do make that a habit, then it's something that just naturally happens easily for you. Whether that is automatically getting up and exercising in the morning, or something that I always have to try to keep myself from doing is waking up and sitting down at the computer right away. So forming a habit of, maybe I'll get up and drink some water and cook a healthy breakfast before I sit down at my computer would be an example for myself. So forming habits would be another recommendation that we'd make.
Yeah, and one to suggest for somebody who's starting an internet business is even just trying to schedule, even if it's 5 days a week is all, or 3 days a week, at least 30 minutes to sit down and work on your business. We've tried to design our academy so that you can do it that way. So it can be 30 minutes a day. You just look, what's the next thing? Okay, I'm going to just do that. Just focus on that. I don't need to read 27 blogs, get on 18 different lists. I can just do what the next exact simple step is, until I hit that 30 minutes. And even a habit like that, obviously that would be an amazing habit to make next year great, because it would be towards creating your internet business. So I just wanted to suggest one that you could use that would, lead to having that online business.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. That goes right along with the third recommendation that we have, and that is to be consistent. And when it comes to starting an internet business, a lot of people, they can think like, oh, well, I'll just, when I get the time, when I get around to it, or, just on the weekends. And of course, you're all tired out on the weekends. And there's a lot to be said about consistency and momentum. That whole law of physics of a body in motion tends to stay in motion. I definitely find that the more frequent and consistent I am in forming my habits and in taking actions and in doing things, the easier it is to keep those things going. If I've spent the last 3 days, doing a half an hour in the evening working on my business, I'm a lot more likely to do that today. If I've spent the last 5 days waking up in the morning and exercising first thing, I'm a lot more likely to do that today, rather than if it's like, oh, well, every Saturday, and then it's been several days in between and you've kind of lost that momentum. So thinking about consistency, thinking about momentum has a lot of power when it comes to taking action, getting things done, and forming those habits. And I think I'd much rather spend a half hour each day on my business than say, oh, I'm going to spend a 4-hour block on Sunday, at least when I'm first starting out. And the reason for that is to get some momentum up and get some consistency going. Yes, you might be more productive in a 4-hour block than in a half-hour block, but usually when you're starting out, consistency is a lot more important than getting certain results, because if you can get that momentum up, and then it's a lot easier just to get going, and then you can worry about effectiveness and efficiency and things like that. But just get it going consistently at first is very powerful for forming habits. Point number 4 is to find an accountability partner. This is something that we did with our coaching students at this most recent Coaching Lab 101 that we've been running. And we asked all of them who would be interested in having an accountability partner for them. And in a way, you can think of this as just a simple 2-person mastermind. Sometimes forming a mastermind with 3 or 4 or 5 people, those are very powerful and we definitely recommend them. But sometimes at first it can be tough because you're trying to negotiate 5 people's schedules and as everybody is dedicated to it. But often when you're starting out, even if you can find that one person that on a regular basis, hopefully like weekly, get on the phone for a bit and check in. Okay, what are the things that went well this week? What are the things that didn't go as well? What's stressing me out? Get some input from the other person. Follow up with each other's goals. And when you know that there's that person you're going to be following up with, not only can it give you that outside perspective, it can also then, I know I'm a lot more likely to make sure I get things done when I know every Monday, Sterling and I are getting on the phone for our strategy meeting and talking about where's the business at? What have we been getting done? And so having that kind of accountability is very powerful, again, for forming habits and staying consistent. So even if you find one person, and a great place to do that is in the Academy Mastermind forums, identify somebody who's maybe got, similar way of operating as you, or maybe they're at least in the same time zone, or whatever works best for you and your schedule. Maybe if you can find somebody locally, although it doesn't have to be, because you've always got Skype and great things like that to converse, and just find that one person that you can touch base with regularly, because an accountability partner will certainly keep you moving forward and taking action. And we've certainly seen this in our coaching students, on our most recent coaching call. I know there's people saying, the accountability partners have just been fantastic. And I've really, enjoyed having that. So it was great to see that that's working well for them. So that's why we're bringing that suggestion to you as well.
And now we're going to lead to the most powerful one of all.
That's right. Number 5 is, Sterling,
just take action. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously one of those things that I hear from other people, that even friends and family, when they're like, oh, what did I do this last year? Oh, I never even got around to it. I'm like, wow, just taking any action to get started is going to lead to the possibility of forming a habit. Lead to that possibility of being consistent. You have to take action first to do that. So, I mean, this is the one thing. It's even if it's just like, okay, well, sign up for the Academy and do the first video. Boom, that's it. Just do that. Or I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write out the goals, or I'm going to go buy the Strength Finder book. Something, take action.
Yeah, because that action, that's part of that momentum. Every time you take action, your confidence builds, you see the results. Maybe that action doesn't always lead to the result that you wanted, but if you take action enough, the results are, cumulatively positive, and things start snowballing in that way. I mean, it's easy to fall in that rut of just learning, waiting for that like magic little sauce to come out. But if there is a magic sauce, it's taking consistent action and being persistent. And, so if you do find that you're in that perpetual learning cycle, or if you do find that you're waiting for all the lights to be green before you finally hit the gas pedal, well, I can understand that trepidation, but that unfortunately, that's just not how life works. And, as entrepreneurs, we've seen the people that succeed are the ones that just start taking action. So that would be our biggest challenge to you, is wherever you're at in this process, whatever that next step is you need to take, dive in and do it. Taking massive, bold action. We've said that many times, and that's one of our favorite phrases, taking massive, bold action. And we certainly want to hear back when you do take that massive, bold action, and share with us the results, the breakthroughs that come from it. No matter how big or small, if it feels good to you, we want to hear about it. And that's what we like to share here on the show, are those breakthroughs that people have when they do take massive, bold action. So there you go. Those are the 5 ways that you can have the best year ever in 2012. I'm sure you have other ones that you can share as well. And if you do have other ones that have come to your mind as you've listened to this, please come back to the blog, to episode number 145, and share in the comments the other recommendations you'd have for us or for the Internet Business Mastery community. But just to review, the 5 that we've gone through in this episode: number 1, discover your strengths. Number 2, form habits. Number 3, be consistent. Number 4, find an accountability partner. And number 5, just take action. So I wanted to share a breakthrough from our coaching course. It's fun to see all the progress that they've been making, the excitement that's been coming out of them taking massive, bold action. And recently got this following email from Jill, who her niche is natural birth. And here's what she has to say. She said, my biggest breakthrough from the coaching course was getting so much done in such a relatively short period of time. The program brought me through step by step, and I did things I never would have thought possible on my own. Everything from getting up my own .com site in a matter of minutes to installing everything from the logo to the navigation bar by myself. It's been an amazing process, and I'm not even close to done. I feel like I've just started, and I feel so empowered to get it done. I've already had people from other countries contact me about my site and content, so that's been another huge breakthrough. Thanks a mil, Internet Business Mastery guys. That's from Jill DiPietro of naturalbirthstgeorge.com, which is naturalbirthstgeorge.com. And you can bet with a baby on the way, we're checking out her content for sure.
And remember, there's a live question and answer call each month for coaching members where you can ask us anything about starting and running your internet business. Not a coaching member yet? No problem. Just visit internetbusinessmastery.com/coaching to get the latest information about our coaching program.
It's time for the Internet Business Quick Tip.
So Sterling, lately you've been drawing up a new sales funnel for us. And of course, one thing that helps is kind of visually map out. It's like, okay, the person goes to this page, and then if they do this, they go to that, and this, they go to that. And having come from a software engineering background, I know that those kinds of processes are much easier to plan with something like flowcharts. And so you've discovered recently a tool for, there's another one we were using in the past that we've mentioned, but this one's even better. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about this tool, this flowchart, online flowchart collaborative tool that you've been using to map out our kind of new sales funnel plans.
Yeah. Now, what made me realize how great this is the fact that I was using another service almost identical to it. But it ends up being 10 times easier. Like, they figured out all the things that takes a while to create these charts and simplified it so you can grab the corner of just a box of a process. Let's say it's an opt-in process. You just click on the corner and you can pull these lines out. It is really, really awesome. And it's called lucidchart.com. And, once I messed around with it for even 30 seconds, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to cancel the other service and use this one. It's funny because it looks almost the same. It's just all the functionality. Again, I'm big on if I spend 2 hours on this and just because I use a different service, it saves me 15 minutes that I can go do something else, I am all for it. So that's
right.
What this was, one of those situations where, since I've been using it quite a bit lately, I saw how much time I was saving just by having these little tweaks that they made. So it's called lucidchart.com, and that's definitely our big quick tip for this episode. If you'd like to get dozens of resources such as this one, you can find them in the Internet Business Mastery Academy, along with video tutorials showing you exactly how we use many of them. So to get your risk-free trial membership to the Academy, go to internetbusinessmasteryacademy.com.
You've been listening to the iconoclasts of the 9 to 5 Sterling and Jay. Sterling and Jay invite you to discover one of their most popular video programs ever, the Online Business Freedom Formula. Visit freevideogift.com right now to get instant access to this life-changing video series, pulled directly from the acclaimed Internet Business Mastery Academy membership community. Go now to freevideogift.com. Take control. Make more money. Start an internet business today.